Today we are going to see the topic File Transfer Protocol or FTP. So, File Transfer Protocol transfers file from one computer to another. So, it is a standard mechanism provided by the TCP IP for copying a file from one host to another. What is FTP? FTP is a mechanism that is provided by the TCP IP for copying a file from one host to another. This FTP differs from other client servers program. How application? This FTP differs from other. This FTP is also this file transfer protocol is also a client server program application, but it differs from other application program. How means here this FTP establishes two connection between the hosts. Normal client server application, it will do only one connection. This FTP, it will establishes two connections. So one connection is used for the data transfer and the other for control information. The control information is nothing but commands and responses. The separation of commands and data transfer makes the FTP more efficient. We are separating the commands and data transfer separate. We are making the commands and data transfer separate. So these special character makes this FTP more efficient. The control connection uses very simple rules for communication. Okay, for control connection, it is using a very simple rules. So this FTP is using two ports. That is, port 21 is used for control connection and port 20 is used for data connection. What are the two ports it is used? FTP is using two ports, and port 21 is used for control connection and port 20 is used for data connection. So this is nothing but FTP. So in user side, this is user interface, two process, that is control process and data transfer process. In the server is also having control process and data transfer process. So the client has three components, that is user interface, client control process and client data transfer process. But the server has only two components, that is server control process and the server data transfer process. The control connection is made between two control process and the data connection is made between two data transfer processes. The control connection remain connected during the entire interactive FTP session. So you are making the control connection remain connected during the entire interaction. Okay. So the data connection is opened and then closed for each file transfer. So after while transferring the file, you are opening one data connection and you are ending that data connection once you have transferred that file. It opens each time commands that involve transferring files are used, and it closes when the file is transferred. When a user start up a FTP connection session, the control connection opens. While the control connection is open, the data connection can be opened and closed multiple times if several files are transferred. So during the when the control connection is in opened form, you can open the data connection and you can close the data connections multiple times. It is allowed. So this is control connection. So here you are transferring the network virtual terminal ASCII format. The data are transformed using network virtual terminal ASCII format. So communication over control connection. So FTP uses the same approach as simple mail transfer protocol to communicate across a control connection. So for communication, this FTP uses simple mail transfer protocol. So it uses 7-bit ASCII character set. The communication is achieved through commands and responses. The simple method is adequate for control connection because we send one command at a time. So very simple method is needed. Why? Because we are sending only one command or response at a time. Each command or response is one short line. So we no need to worry about the file format or file structure. We are simply giving one short line. Each line is terminated with a 2 character. Okay, a carriage return and a line feed. So data connection. So this is client and this is server. While transferring data, you have to open a data connection. Next date. How we are connecting through data. The purpose of data connection is different from the control connection. We want to transfer file through the data connection. If you want to transfer the data to the data file through the data connection, then we need to open a data connection. File transfer occurs over the data connection under the control of the commands sent over the control connection. We can transfer file to the data connection, but it is controlled by the control connection. File transfer in FTP, that is file transfer protocol, means 3 things. First one is a file is copied from the server to the client. This is called retrieving a file. So there are 3 things in file transfer. First one is a file is copied from the server to a client. This is called retrieving a file, and it is done under the supervision of RETR command. Next, second one is a file is copied from client to server. This is called storing a file. This is done under the supervision of STOR command. Third one is a list of directory or file name is to be sent from the server to the client. This is done under the supervision of list command. Note that the FTP treats a list of history or file names as file. It is sent over data connection. 3 things are done. First one is from server to client. That is nothing called retrieving, and it is done under the supervision of RET command. Second one is from client to server. It is called storing, and it is done by the supervision of STOR command. And the third one is a list of directory or a file name is to be sent from server to client, and it is done under the supervision of list command. File type. The file FTP can transfer one of the following file type across a data connection. That it can handle 2 types of files. That is, one is ASCII file, and next one EBCDIC file. That is extended binary coded decimal interchange code file. Okay, or image file. So these are the 2 types of file it can manage. One is ASCII, another one extended binary code decimal interchange code file. Next one is data structure. The FTP can transfer a file across a data connection by using one of the following interpretation about the structure of the data. First one is file structure, second one record structure, and third one is page structure. Okay. So there are 3 types of structures the data is having. The 3 structures are file structure, record structure, and page structure. In file structure format, the file is a continuous stream of bytes. In file structure, the file will be a continuous stream of bytes. In record structure, the file is divided into records. It can be used only with the text files. And last one is page structure. In page structure, the file is divided into pages, with each page having a page number and page header. 3 format you are having. That is file structure, record structure, page structure. Okay. So the pages can be stored and accessed randomly or sequentially. Transmission mode. The FTP can transfer a file across the data connection by using one of the following 3 transmission modes. 3 modes are there: stream mode, block mode, and compressed mode. In stream mode, the stream mode is a default mode. The data are delivered from FTP to TCP as a continuous stream of bytes. The TCP is responsible for chopping data into segments of appropriate size. The data are simply a stream of bytes. No end of file is needed. Okay. Now, end of file in this case is a closing of data connection by the sender. If the data divided into record, each record will have a 1 byte end of record character, and the end of file will have a 1 byte end of file character. So first one is file. Sorry, first one is stream mode. In stream mode, the stream mode is a default mode, and data delivered from file transfer protocol to TCP as a continuous stream of bytes, and the TCP is responsible for chopping the data into segments. If the data are applied as a stream of bytes, no end of file is needed. So the end of file in this case is a closing of data connection by the sender. So if the data divided into record, each record we have a 1 byte end of record character, and end of file will have a 1 byte end of file character. In block mode, data can be delivered from FTP to TCP in blocks. In this case, each block is preceded by a 3 byte header. The first byte is block descriptor, and next 2 bytes define the size of the block. The third one is a compressed mode. So if the file is big, the data has to be compressed. The compressed method normally used is run length encoding. In this method, consecutive appearance of data unit are replaced by one occurrence and the number of repetitions. In a text file, this is usually spaces. In binary file, null characters are usually compressed. So you have seen the FTP.